Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today, well, I've been up in the attic and I had a rummage around, and I've dug out the other Atari ST FM that I have. This is the one that's got a bit of an iffy main board in it, so there's a slight warp to the main board, and it's rather flaky. But the case is in pretty nice condition. It's got a little bit of yellowing on it here. But apart from that, really, it's fairly good. This it's fairly good. This case. I've taken the screws out so we can quickly just whip the top off it. But obviously it's missing its disk drive. So the disk drive in this was faulty, and I've put it somewhere very, very safe. And it's so safe I actually can't remember what the hell I've done with it. But I've got all the fixings. Not that that matters, because we've got all the fixings from the other system. So basically what we're going to do is use the best parts of both systems and make one nice Atari ST out of them. And I'll put the faulty board away for another project. Someone did mention about reflowing it in an oven, and it might actually be too daft an idea, that. I'll think about that at a later date. Like I said, the purpose of this video and what I just want to do now is just get a nice Atari ST to have set up and playing, because I must admit I've even just set up like this on the desk, I've quite enjoyed playing through a few of these games. Especially looking at the difference between them on the ST and the Amiga. Being that I've never really done very much at all with the ST. Right, let's crack on with this now. Actually, the other keyboard is slightly less yellowed than this keyboard, but I'm probably, at least for now, I'm going to stick with this keyboard for one main reason, and that's, in fact, let's get this. Still got that. I was having a play with it. Let's get it unplugged. Completely forgot I'd left it connected up. And so I was having a play with it earlier, just to confirm it's still playing up, and it is. Right. Anyway, let's get that one out of the way. Yeah, let's get that one out of the way, and we'll start with this one. We'll get this one stripped down, and then we've got something to start with. But anyway, yeah, I was going to say I'm going to use this keyboard. The other keyboard is slightly less yellowed, not a huge amount actually. There's not a lot in it, but and it's got a key missing. But it's got a key missing. Now, first of all, I thought I'll do is I'm just going to pinch that key off this keyboard and stick it on that keyboard. But what's happened is someone's tried to glue that key in the past on that keyboard. They've got super glue basically poured into the plunger there, and they've pretty much gacked it up completely. So I don't think I'd ever get that key properly working, at least not without getting some spare parts. So for now, we'll stick with this keyboard because it does work perfectly. So let's get that disconnected from the main board. So we'll put that to one side, and let's get this let's get this main board out of the case. Right. You can tell it's been some time since I played with this thing, so I can't even remember where all the screws are. I think if I remember correctly, it's these ones at the front, isn't it, we need to undo. We'll put all them safe. It would be nice to get this all buttoned down and finished before the parts come from my Amiga 600 and we start on the Amiga 600 recap. So I'd like this one all finished, really. Then I can be using it, I can set it up and actually use it for a while. I'm not sure about whether it's going to be possible to upgrade the... I think it's fairly easy, actually. I'll look into it to upgrade the RAM to 1040. Just add the extra RAM chips. I don't think you need anything else. There might be wrong. There might be a bit of logic you've got to add as well. I'll find out about that. Right. Is there anything else holding it? I presume it all comes out with its shielding, or do we have to take all the shielding off and there's a hidden screw somewhere? It's got to be 18 months, possibly 2 years since I last played with an Atari ST, so you'll have to forgive me not knowing where all the screws and all the fixings are. There we go. That's the power supply that I rebuilt previously. Well, when I say rebuilt, I think there was only a couple of capacitors on it that were actually bad. I think I changed that one, I changed that one, and I changed that one. Those two were still okay. There was absolutely nothing wrong with them. I don't see any point in changing capacitors if the ESR on them still good and everything. They were absolutely fine. They were bad. Well, they weren't terrible, but they. Oh, that one. I think that one might be one that have bulged, and they were a bit off spec, so I just swapped them out. Right. Has that got any further in here? Oh, we've got to take the power supply board out, haven't we? And then that's it. Yeah, of course we have. Take the power supply board out. Try to not drop any screws inside it. Oops. Come on. Oh, we'll retrieve that after. Now, where's the other screws? We've got a screw there. I don't think I screwed all this. I've got some screws at the back. No. Come on, help me out, folks. What am I doing? Is that it? The problem is you don't want to be too forceful with these, because we've seen how fragile the cases are. There we go. We're free. Now, this case has been cleaned previously, so we don't have to worry too much about it being really dirty, because I have already cleaned this case. Right. Let's put that to one side, because we'll be reusing that soon. And let us take the power supply board out, because we want to oops, get a little screw, because we want to use this board on the new main board, because as I say, I know the pedigree of this power supply, because I've already worked on it myself. I know all the voltages on it are spot on. Right, and this can go to one side for now. Yeah, it does look like we can fairly easily. If this is the same board as in my new one, it does look like it's going to be fairly easy to upgrade the RAM to like 1040. So we've got all the RAM sockets there, and I'm sure I've got some RAM that would fit that. I've got piles and piles of DRAM. I'll have to look through my stocks and see if I've got any suitable DRAMs to do it. I'm pretty certain I have, though. And obviously you'll have to add these capacitors. The decoupling capacitors are all need adding. Obviously the DRAMs themselves, I can't see, just quickly looking, that I'm not sure. There might be some extra logic that needs adding as well, but I'll look into that and I'll find that out. Not for this board anyway, because that's the dodgy board. I'll put that to one side, because it won't go to waste. That we will do something with that eventually. And let's bring in the working ST. So this is the one with the totaled case. Let me get the good power supply out of the way. Well, when I say good power supply, I can't see that there's anything wrong with the power supply in this. It seems to work fine. Right. I'll disconnect this keyboard. You see what I mean about the key down there. It's like literally someone's obviously broken it off and they've tried sticking super glue on the top and probably sticking the cap back on, and all we've ended up doing is just gluing the plunger into position down there. So it's going to be a bit of a mare to fix that, and at the very least I'll need a new plunger and keycap. Anyway, so that'll go in with my spares as well. Right, now we've got chunk of case. We need to extract this floppy drive because we know that this floppy drive's good. Let's get that disconnected. Right, out you come. There we go, that's that disconnected. I don't feel like there's very many screws actually holding it in place. Yeah, I don't think those are original. Just let me find a flat blade screwdriver. I'm pretty sure that they should all be Phillips. And there's only 2 screws holding it in. I think there should be 3. So it's a good job we've got the screws from the other computer in that little bag. Alright, there we go. Perhaps they are flat. Let's have a look in the No, they're not. No, they are Phillips, the correct ones. Well, I presume they've been replaced at some time. They don't look computer then, and they're rusty. These at least are nice and clean. Right, we can pull the disk drive out of the way. Standard fair Atari disk drive. Put that out of the way for now. Right. Let's get the cover off the PSU. I mean, if we weren't swapping... Oh yeah, we would still have to take this out because otherwise we can't get the board out. And then there's some screws. Some screws holding the front down. Ah, there's one there. I'll take that out. That seems to be free. Ah, there's one there. I don't think mine had a full complement of screws holding the thing in either. There we go. But out of the 2 cases, we might actually have enough screws to put a full complement of screws back in. I'll have to get these bits of case out. Put that over there. So we do have we should have enough screws for the finished Atari to have a full complement of screws, which would be nice. Right. Come out. There we go. We might use the shielding off my other one because it's in better condition. That one's a bit, it's had some spillage through it. And I think the one on my other off my other power supply is in better condition, slightly better condition, so we'll use the one that's in slightly better condition. Put that out of harm's way. Put that out of harm's way. Right. And that looks to be a slightly different power supply. Oh, it's just either a different manufacturer or a different revision. Appear to be in bad condition. But we'll, like I said, we'll use the other power supply that I've rebuilt. I know is good. This one is an unknown quantity. I'll probably refurb it anyway, to be fair, because they sell quite nicely on eBay. So we might do a video on just recapping this and refurbing this supply. I might keep it around as a spare, you never know. Alright, so this only has screws in them two positions as well, by the look of it. thought I'd just been lazy and not put the other screws back in. This seems to only be held with the two front ones as well. Let's try and pick these screws out. Come out. That's one. That's the other. Right. Now that, I think if I was right on the other one, that should lift out now, shouldn't it? What's holding it? What's holding it now? I think that should be free. Yeah, I'm not too worried about this case, but it's a bit bent on that corner there. That's had a bash. Something else seems to be holding that. I don't know what I missed. And we've got bits of case rattling all. We might have to take the shielding off this because the simple fact there's bits of case rattling around underneath the shielding. But why? Ah! Right, we've got snapped off. Snapped off mounts holding it. There's one at the back there. There's still a screw in that hole, but the actual mount it's held onto is broken off inside the case. Is there any more like that? There wasn't very many, so that's possibly why it suffered as badly as it did. There weren't that many screws actually holding the whole computer together. I think it only had about 4 screws in it. Right, now hopefully we can lift this whole unit out now, and we can. So there's the pity we can't even salvage the bottom cover. I mean, I could glue that. I think I've got that corner, so we could possibly glue that corner back in, but it's cracked. You see there, it's broken there, and I don't think we'd ever get the top back together, so I think that's trash. I think that's landfill, unfortunately. Right, let's see if we can get them bits of that's the power supply out. Should have lifted that out first, shouldn't I? We've got the that's the power supply out, so we won't be using that one in this build. We'll use the one that I've rebuilt already. I'll put that to one side for now. I think we are going to have to take the shielding off this. Let's get the old anti-static on. I wouldn't have bothered putting the anti-static on if all I was doing was just swapping this straight over into the new case, but seeing we're going to have to take the shielding off and see what's rubbaging around in there, we better... I don't think them screws are right, they look a bit long. Let's have a look. And we've got all these tabs to bend open, haven't we? Yeah, right, where's my... there we go. Bend these tabs open. You may as well have a good squiz inside it. Ah, there they are, along the back as well. Someone's obviously been in this a few times before. Right. Ah. So, right, this is a Rev 1 board. That's part of the disk drive. That's what was rattling around inside. So it's an early one, this, isn't it? It looks like it has had some work done on it, so I presume the TOS has been updated in this, the OS ROMs, because you can see where various solder points on here. This is how I'll show. I'll just get you down and zoom you in a bit. Where are we? There. Right, basically, from what I can gather, from what I've looked online and what have you, these jumper pads down at the bottom here, how you set what ROMs are used that contain your OS and what have you, and it looks like this has been modified. Yeah, it has. Looks like it's been set up to use 1 meg ROMs rather than a load of 256 ones, but there's rather icky solder blobs on there. I wonder if this has had something fitted to it at some point, one of the ST upgrades, and it's been removed. I'm not sure. Because it did come from someone that was obviously into STs. Doesn't look too bad, the board. In fact, the board looks quite nice. And this uses different RAM to that board we've just looked at. So we'd need it's the 256 by 4s. So we need 256 by 4s. I am sure somewhere I've got some of them 256 by 4s. So we'd need them. We'd need to add the decoupling capacitors. There's possibly some other bits that we need to add on there to get that to work. But I'll look into that, because it'd be nice if we could upgrade it to 1 megabyte. It doesn't look like it's going to be too hard to do. But for now, we'll just leave it at the 0.5 meg. But yeah, at least the board's nice and clean. It's obviously had some work done to it in the past. I can see a few bits of rework, but there's no bodges on it. It doesn't look bodgy. It doesn't look hacked about. No, it feels reasonably well in. The only things that are socketed on the entire board, we've got the floppy disk controller IC up there. That's socketed. We've got something. It's probably video decoder, digital analog converter, something like that, to do with the video output. There, that's socketed, and our ROMs are socketed. Everything else on the board is soldered to the board. 68,000 soldered to the board. All the glue logic soldered to the board. All the custom chips are soldered to the board. I mean, I think it's pretty much same with the other one that I've got, because I've been round and pretty much resoldered everything on that board. And it still has issues. Right, let's put the shielding back on. There was something on the shielding I thought was. Oh no, it's not. It's just how the shielding's designed. Thought it was a bit bent in that corner, but it's absolutely fine. Right. We'll put the shielding back together. Just give these a little, just enough of a bend just to hold them in place. We don't want to go mad, because we don't know how many times they've been bent and unbent over the years. It's quite nice having all the shielding in place and everything. There we go, that'll do for now. Yeah, I think that'll hold it quite nicely. They're a little bit bent that hold the top on the power supply. We'll just straighten them up while we're in here. There we go. Right, so I suppose let's get the let's get the good bottom casing. There we go. I'll slide this in. There we are. I've got to figure out where all the screws are meant to go, because quite a lot of screws missing. Right. One of them in there. One of them in there. Does it have another? Do they use them, or do they use ones right through? It's not quite sitting fully back yet, is it? Because them holes aren't lining up where they should do. Why is that not lining up? What is the problem? Ah, there we go. That's better. Just wasn't quite sitting square. That's better now. Right. I want some of the plastic screws, because one has to go in that corner there. Don't want to over tighten these because we know how fragile this plastic is. You literally just want to put them in very, very gently, because this plastic is getting old and brittle. Definitely, whatever you do, don't use a power driver or anything to insert them. That'd be a really, really bad idea. That one's tight. Right, and then we've got one up there, and then we've got two on that side there. And that should be all them the screws that actually hold the case together. Should be, well, hold the board down to the. Make sure we get the right ones, because there's two lengths of them. There's ones for the case, and there's ones for the board itself. That's a shorter one. And we do not want to put a hole through the bottom of the plastic. That's that one in. We've got two on this. There's one down there, I think. Does that have a plastic underneath it? Looks like it. So we need another of them. Perhaps that one's not. Perhaps I'm wrong there. Perhaps it is the next hole over. Right, there we are. That's better. I don't think that's right. That feels a bit long. Let's have a look. With all those case screws. Let's see if these are shorter than these ones. I'd rather leave the screw out than put too long a screw in and risk damaging the bottom of the computer. Well, that's the case length one. So those are the shorter screw. That's a case length one. That's a case length one. That's a shorter one. Those are machine screws. That's a case length one. So we should have, that's a case length one, we should have a full complement of screws for this thing. Let's try. But I would rather leave, if these are going to risk coming through the bottom of the computer, I'd rather just leave them out. I think that's right. To be a bit careful, because I don't want to risk damaging. Anything. Right. Let's put the power supply I'm definitely going to use, which is this one. I'll put this in here. some, let me get that back out. There's some wires here which are catching, which are it's from the disk drive cable, disk drive power cable. We can just tuck them neatly out of the way while we get this in, because the foot of the power supply was just getting caught on them. Right, let's try that again. We've basically got to steer these little feet round various obstacles on the board. And then it should drop in. I think. Let's try getting that back out again. Now, why is that not going and lining up? There's basically a little tab on there that has to line up with a slot in the board on both them back feet. For some reason, let's just get the other power supply and see if there's any difference between the two. There shouldn't be. I mean, the power supply is very slightly different, but the layout of the rest of it should be absolutely the same. We'll line them holes up there. No, they're not. Now that's interesting to know. Right. Ho hum. So they're actually very, very slightly different. If I hold them there, the legs don't line up, the feet don't line up. So what we'd have to do, actually that wouldn't be too hard to do. What we're going to have to do is basically swap the brackets over. Let's so my power supply must be a very slightly later revision. This is the power supply that I've rebuilt. This is the power supply out of the one we're using the board from. So I don't suspect there is actually anything at all wrong with this power supply. It's just I'd rather use the one that I know I've been through. I think what we'll have to do is swap the plates over and put this power supply board on this bracket, and then it should work. We should then be able to fit it in the into the computer. I mean, it's very, very similar. It's just there's about probably 5 mil difference between where the legs line up. Right, so that's free. That's free. Let's connect that earth there. Make sure we've got all our washers, because they'll have to go back on. That's a safety thing. Right, now we undo these 4 screws here. We should be able to lift. I was expecting just to be able to literally swap the power supplies over and use the rebuilt one, but it's never as simple as you think, is it? Right. Come out. Come out, you little bugger. There we go. Out you come. Right, so we can lift that supply complete as it is off. That doesn't look like it's ever been worked on. We can do the same with this one. Where's my screwdriver gone? There it is. Unscrew that. That one. That one. Here's where we find out that the boards are very, very slightly different, and I've just wasted my time, but I think they should work. The boards look exactly the same. Well, not, you know, the actual footprint of the board, not the actual component layout. So obviously the one that I'm replacing it with, by the look of it, is a later revision board. Okay, that's the last screw out. So hopefully what we should be able to do is just literally lift that off and plonk it on that one there. And that should solve the problem. So let's see. There's always an extra cable tie on this one. Let's get rid of that. Right, now, should lift this board up. Come on, off you come. There we are. Lift that board up. And we transfer it over here. Unfortunately, yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to line up alright. Yeah, I think that's going to be no problem there. Let's put these screws in. Make sure that the plastic underneath's lined up, because that's your protection to stop any short circuits. Right. There we are. That's set into place. Screw that down there. Just make sure that's in the right place. Okay. That one down. We've just got one more over there to put in. And we can screw the front bits in, and then we can get this in the computer. There we go. So that's tight. Don't want to over tighten those. I don't want to over tighten those screws, but that should be good enough. You don't want to risk cracking the PCB. Put that one in there. Like that. I'll get rid of that cable tie, I don't think we need it. Right, now we need to reconnect that earth. So that goes on first, then we put the star washer behind it. Tighten that in. There we go. You want that nice and tight, because that's your safety for your earth. Right, last two screws in there. There's one there. And then we've just got one more to put in that side, and we can get on with reassembly. There we go. Okay. hopefully this will now fit the, well, let's get that power supply out of the way for now. And I'll put that back together after I've done this video. Right. And get the, let's get the computer back in. There we go. And now this should now slot in there perfectly. Keep your fingers crossed. Nearly there. I do not want to. Oh, that's that side in. That's gone in there. That's lined up there. That side there looks a little bit high. Now, why aren't you? Just needs a little bit of a tweak over. Where's my little screwdriver gone? There it is. You just put that screwdriver in the hole and you should just be able to tweak it over. It's ever so slightly out. There we go. Pop. That went in nicely. Right, excellent. So that's the power supply. That's the power supply home. Pop them two front screws in. It should be one of them. One of them, I think. Right. We'll put these in. That's in. Tighten you down. That should be good enough. Same on this side. And I've just realised that the reason there isn't two screws in the back is because there's posts that come down from the top and screw into them because I'm a dozy sod. I just figured that out now. Right, so that one goes in there. Okay, let's not go mad with it. That should be tight enough. Can plug the power in and make sure we don't get it unaligned, misaligned. Excellent. Right, so that's the power supply fitted. And like I said, that's the power supply that I've already rebuilt when I was trying to get the original computer fully functional. Right, now where's that cover that we said we'd use on that power supply? That's the rustier one down there. Here's the one that was... no, that's not that. Where have I just put it? Oh, I'm just going to put things... ah, there it is. I put it over here. Right. It's not perfect, but it's better than the other one, so we might as well use the one that's the better one. That goes on there. Get this, there we are, clip that in there, there we are, and they pull forwards, don't they, to, right, there's two little tabs there that need to lock in. Excellent. Right, that doesn't look too bad. We'll put the screws and secure that in place. One there. One in there. Now I'm not going to bother binding them tabs on the power supply for the simple fact there's no way that can come loose. That's good, I'm happy with that. What I am going to do is I'm going to stick a few of them screws in at the back there that we're missing. seeing we do have some spares now, seeing we're using the screws from both. I don't feel like that's going to go in. At least I presume that there's meant to be screws in here. Ah, that one is. Oh, do those, hang on a minute. No, them back screws there hold the cover on the back. I think that one's right. I think there should be another one in there. This really is a bit of guesswork on my part. Let's stick that one in there. Yeah, that's screwing in. That's down. I think that's okay. I think we've got almost a full complement of screws. It's certainly better than when it was. Right, disk drive. Disk drive. What have I done with the disk drive? Where? Oh, I put it there. Daft son. Right, now we need. Ah, there should be some pegs in there, shouldn't there? Now, I know one of them is this metal thing. I think that one fits in there. But it looks like one of the plastic ones is broken off this. Now where's the old board? Let's see if we can remove one from the old board and stick it in there. And there's that screw that we lost in the old board before, so that's handy. Yeah, there we are. There it is. Now I think these are actually meant to be glued to the board, but obviously that one's broken off and this one's pretty just well snapped off them, but it won't matter when we've got the disk drive actually in place. It's just to act as a stand like that, so we'll just hold that in place while we get the disk drive in. We'll put that one in first and then we can worry about putting the other two, which are obviously still attached. So move the cable out of the way. We'll get that one lined up. I think that's about right. Right, and then we can at least put this screw in and it'll hold it for the minute while we get the other two. Right, that's the first one in. I should hold it while we get these other two in. The screw don't seem to be wanting to line up with the hole. This is going to be a bit faffier than I thought it'd be. And you get right to the end, you think, oh, it's the easy bits now, just putting the disk drive back in, and this is going to be a faff. You can just tell it's going to be a faff. Because that's not sitting down there where it should. Why? Take that one, perhaps we put that in the wrong hole. Basically just got it balanced over the edge so I can hold that that one that's broken on the screwdriver like that while I figure out. No, that must have been in the right hole. So those two are lined up. drop that down. That is the one that fits in that hole there. That just sits like a spacer like that. There's not actually a hole through the bottom for it. Right. I think we've got it this time. I'm trying to get the screw to start in that. There we are. That was a bit of a faff, weren't it? Won't do it fully tight yet until I get the other two tightened up. And we might have to use one of the mismatched screws as well, because it looks like we only had two for this side. That's a shame. But that's lined up now. Yeah, that's gone in this time. Goody, goody, goody. That one's tight. We'll put one of these. So we must have only had two. At least it's got, okay, the heads don't match, but at least it's got a full set of screws in it, and that's more important. It keeps the drive in tight and steady. Right, that's the drive fitted. We're getting there, we're getting there. Right. We'll plug power back into the drive. Check. We'll plug data back in. That should be the right one. Yeah, that looks right. Get in there. There we are. I think that's set right. Yeah. Okay, so we've got this drive reconnected. We've got everything else reconnected. Let's get the keyboard we're going to use, which is this one. I suppose we'd better do a quick test as well. So what we'll do is we'll connect the keyboard up, we'll connect some power and some video up to it, and we'll bang a disc in and see if we can just make sure that a disc loads before we actually button the thing up. I'll get you zoomed out a bit and get you up, so at least we can see what's happening. Right, I'll connect. We've got power. We've got video. So that's the video in. Put some power up it. Oh, switch off there a sec. Right, we've got the mouse. What have we done with the mouse? There's the mouse. Let's stick the mouse in it. Let's lift the keyboard up and just cheat for now. Okay. Right, let's power on and see. Hopefully it's going to work. Let's see. Oh. That could just be a bad connection on the... Let's switch off again. Well, that didn't look good, did it? Right, let's disconnect the keyboard and mouse. just not have the connector plugged in very well then. Let's try again. No, that doesn't look good. Well, the disk drive seems to be. Let's make sure everything's plugged in on the monitor, because I've been having some issues with this. Monitor, but it was working just before, weren't it? Oh dear, that's. You see the disk drive's trying to I'll switch off there again quickly. I wonder what is the problem. Well, that's not good, is it? That was very much giving us the behaviour that that was basically what the board that I've replaced this board was doing after when it was misbehaving. Very, very similar to that. I did put the right board in, didn't I? Yeah, of course I put the right board in, because this is the board with the that's going to be easy to upgrade to. It definitely doesn't look happy. Let's disconnect the power. Let's just make sure we've connected everything up right. Just shows we all have issues. Just if you're ever doing anything, just be careful if you're working around an open power supply. Obviously, because there are some voltages in here. Actually, this one's not too bad, because everything that you could touch that could give you a really nasty crack is fairly well covered on this one. But you can't say that for every power supply. Let's switch. Well, the disk drive seems to be seeking, so it can't be that that bad a problem. Because in fact, let's stick a disc in and see whether it's going to even attempt to. Even we don't see anything on screen, but it tries to boot the disk. In fact, I'm not sure if that one boots. I just go straight to gem. Let's switch off. I'll put this in because I know this. I think this one boots. Yeah. I think I was trying to read the disc. So why have we got no video now? The only thing we've changed is the power supply, and we've changed the the power supply that was in it to a. I mean, as far as I was aware, the power supplies in the STs are all the same. There might be slightly different revisions, but you know the pinouts and everything on them are exactly the same. Yeah. 2 reds, which are your 5 volts. your blacks which are your ground and a blue which is your 12 volts. And that's all you need on these power supplies. So I can't see it being a power supply. Yours, that's the only thing we've swapped that's different from this board from the other board, is that we've changed the power supply. That is most odd. What else could we have done that caused a problem like this? So, I mean, what we've really done is just replace some screws which were missing. And absolutely nothing on screen. Well, that's a stumper. I'm just going to pause the video and I'll have a further fiddle with this and see if I can figure out what's going on. Right, well, okay, I've got it all stripped back down again, as you can see. I've not done anything to the board at all apart from just strip it back down one bit at a time. Take the disk drive out, no change. Take the shielding off and it all fires back up again. So I don't know what's going on there. I suppose what we better do is I'll shut it off. I'll shut it off at the wall actually, because I've just got the power supply just balanced there. I'm going to connect the disk drive up with it all in pieces like this, and let's see whether and the keyboard, and we'll see if it functions correctly, and then we'll try putting it back together again. I don't know what went wrong there. Well, like I said, I tried. First thing I did was disconnect the disk drive. That's your standard first port of call. That didn't make any difference. I actually tried plugging the other power supply in, just loosely on top there, and that didn't make any difference. Got the yeah, I've got the disk drive connected there. I'll connect the keyboard back up, and we'll just see. We'll see if that if it's going to boot up or it's going to misbehave again. Right, so that's connected. I've got the keyboard connected up. Let's try it again. Switch it on there. It seems to be reading. Yeah, look. Trying it doesn't really matter. Let's see if it'll load the game, and then we'll have another go at putting it back together. Don't worry about that's normal with this game because it's a cracked game. Oh, that's me tapping on there. But let's see if it loads the game now. We know there's nothing. That was really weird. Yeah, I mean that seems to be working fine. I suppose we better try putting the because I really want to keep all the shielding on this computer. I want to keep this computer as original as possible, with the possible exception of, like I said, just perhaps doing a RAM upgrade on it. See if we can take it up to a 1040. Let's just see, like I said, let's just see if the game actually loads up to its screen, and then we'll have another go at putting this thing back together. Come on. I think it does take quite a while to load this actually. But I'll be more peace of mind if, when I see an actual game screen come up. Come on. I think it's still thinking about loading it. You can still hear the disk drive chugging away. There we go. Yeah, that's worked. That's worked fine, Turrican. Okay, so we haven't broken it. Right, what I'll do is because you've seen me put all the shielding together once, haven't you? So I'll pause the video and I'll try and get back to where we were before, and then we'll get back to where we were. That was weird. I've got no idea at all why that just happened then. Anyway, so we'll be back in a sec once I've actually got the shielding back on, and we can be back to where we actually was in the video. Okay, we're finally back to where we were, and as you can see, I'll just get us quickly grab you up onto the screen. If I flick on now, green screen. If you heard the disk drive then, with any luck, it should start loading that disk. So let's just try and give it a quick reset. Have we got a disk in? Oh no, hang on. Let's just stick a disk in. There we go. Obviously, it's going to skits out because it hasn't got a keyboard. It hasn't got a keyboard or anything connected to it. But the computer is definitely working. That was a weird one. That was a really weird one. I put the shielding back on, and it just took me about 40 minutes. But nothing went wrong. I literally just put a screw in at a time. Every time I put an extra screw in, I tried the computer. I put another screw in, I tried the computer, and I basically just kept going like that until I got all the screws in, the drive back in, everything's still back in, and the computer's still firing up. So I just don't know why it did that. That was weird, because like I say, there's nothing different apart from one thing, and that's not going to change it at all. I've got to admit, I have done a slight modification to the RF shielding, just that, and basically what that is, I've cut that out of the back of the RF shielding. And I'll show you on the other one that we've got. Basically what I've done is I've cut that top piece, just that little piece there, out of the RF shielding, and what that allows now is basically you take that top cover off there, you can take the entire top RF shielding off the computer without having to disconnect all the power supply and take everything out of the case to do it. You can literally just take the screws out. I've left all those unbent this time because I will be going back. I thought I will be going back in this because I really do want to see if I can upgrade the RAM. I think that's going to be fairly possible. So I've put every screw in that I had in the first time when you saw me screw all the screws in, but this time it's not coming up with a black screen with lines on it. You know, it's working fine now. If I switch it on now, obviously it's not going to fire up, but oh, I'll stick a disc in. You know, you stick a disc in and it's booting up straight away. So I just haven't got a clue what at all happened then. That was weird. Anyway, let's carry on. Let's carry on putting this thing back together. So we've got one other piece of metalwork shielding to go on, haven't we? Now, what have I done with it? What have I done with it? There it is. We've got this piece of shielding, which goes there over the edge of the disk drive, and put that in place, and then it's just a case of putting the keyboard back in, putting the case back on, and we've got a nicely sorted ST. So we've got the recapped, or at least serviced power supply in. So I'm pretty sure there's nothing really wrong with the original supply. I will check it out and check all the caps on it, but I've already gone over that one, so I know that that one's right. Okay, so let's just quickly unplug video and power, make life a bit easier for us. We want the good keyboard. What's the bad keyboard? Where's the good keyboard? Well, both keyboards work, it's just that this one this one's got that the key that's damaged on the other one. I will have a look, see if there is anything we can do with that keyboard, but I think we'll be looking for parts. We're definitely going to need a plunger and a keycap, but I have a feeling with the fact that it's got super glue in where the plunger went, it's going to be a bit of a mare to get working again. Right, that just drops straight in. It's not even that dirty, that. And where's our good top case? This is the bit that always gets damaged on these Ataris, and this one, like I said, there's no breaks in it or anything. It's not even cracked. It's not even had a single attempt at gluing it back together, which is quite unusual for these now. So let's slot that back on. On you go. Why the plastics ended up so fragile on these. It's a lot more fragile than it is on the Amiga. We have to slide that over there first. There down. And you see, you really don't want to manipulate it too much because you're frightened of cracking. There we are, that's it, it went on. You're frightened of cracking the plastic, it's that fragile on these Ataris, on these STs. Right, okay, now we can get the, we can actually get a full complement of screws in it. It'll be rather nice. One. So, three, right, those three are disk drive. We've got one there, that one's in. Let's see, I think we've just got enough screws to do this. Put one in there. That's in. And we need one more screw. Have we got enough? You know what, I think we're short one of those, yeah, we're short one. Oh, excuse me, excuse me. I must have dropped one on the floor. I think we're short one of those little, the plastic screws. Have we got anything suitable kicking about? See, it's got to be the right length, or else it's going to cause damage. It's going to cause problems. If I've got, let's see what we've got here. If I've got just one, even if it's not the same colour screw, it'd be better having a screw in there, wouldn't it? Let's have a quick fertile. See if I've got one that's going to be suitable. This might be. That looks a bit small. Thought I might have one here that'd do, but I think we'll have to find. Is that the right screw in there? No, that's not going to work. Yeah, I think we're going to have to find one more screw for there at some point, but that's not going to be the end of the world, is it? Because all those are machine screws, and I don't want to stick a machine screw in a hole where So a plastic screw, because like a semi-self tapping screw, the plastic screws, as well. Obviously the machine screw needs to go in a proper thread. So we'll forgive that at the moment, but I will find a correct screw to go in there. Double check that I've not left one in that bag. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the spare leftover fixings in this bag. Don't think we need to bother with big chunks of broken case, but we'll stick all the final fixings in that bag. Because I will rebuild the other power supply and I'll need the screws for that. We'll find a screw that's suitable for. We'll find a screw that's suitable for putting in there. So I'm not going to jam in an ill-fitting screw for now. It's not worth. It's not worth making a mess of it doing that. We'll just. I'll hunt through all my screw hoards and we'll find one that's actually going to fit properly. Right. Let's give it a try now. It's all looks better, doesn't it? Let's give it a try now. It's all back together. Put some power in it. We'll put the video in. And we'll connect up a games controller and the mouse. It doesn't look new, but I've seen far more yellowed, manky looking Atari STs than this. It doesn't actually look bad at all. It'll be absolutely fine set up. So yeah, I've got to find that cable I've got as well that does away with this and bring. I say I could make one. It's easy enough, but I know I have got one somewhere. Right, there we go. That is the Atari all put back together. Let's see if we can load a game on it. I'll get you up on the screen. So I've got a few minutes of video left on this card, so we might as well switch that off. Switch the Atari on. There we go. Let's dig a disc out. What are we going to play? Oh, that's a good one to try. Hopefully this will load. Oh, before I forget while we're getting this to load, in Gem I am having one issue still, which is basically in Gem. I'll turn that down so you can hear me speak. You know where I'm having to click on something, then click open. Apparently that's not right. You should be able to double click on an icon and it just and it's open like the disk driver and something like that. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on there. One of my viewers actually has sent me some links associated with that problem. I've just not had a chance to actually look into what needs to be done yet, but I presume that's something that we can easily sort out. Right, let's. This should hopefully load now. Let's see. Yes, 1 or 2 to play. There we go. Well, we all know what we're doing. But yeah, that's it. That's the computer sorted. So I'm quite pleased with that, really. I've got a nice... So it's not over restored or anything. It's got a little bit of patina to the case, but it's not. There's no damage. There's no breaks or chips or cracks or anything on this case, and that's what I was really, really aiming for. Just a nice, well sorted. We'll switch that off. Just a nice, well sorted Atari ST. The only thing I'm thinking of doing with this one is basically. Upgrading the RAM and putting basically making it into a 1040. But apart from that, I'm going to leave this ST completely stock. I know there's plenty of upgrades and things you can do with these STs, but like the stock Amiga 500, I'm going to quite happy to keep this stock, keep a big set of box of discs like that with it, and just play some games off floppy disk with it. So I've got my Amigas for hacking and modifying. I'm pleased with this now. I've got a really nice ST for the collection, completely stock, completely standard. So the only thing I'll possibly think about doing is that quick RAM upgrade for it. I think that'd be I think the RAM upgrade would probably be well worth doing, to be fair. Just because I can do it. It looks like it's going to be fairly simple on the board. It's not going to be a big hack job or anything. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed this little rather long walkthrough showing me putting this thing back together. Don't worry about all the other parts from this. I'm going to see what I can possibly do with that again. It's not just going to go in the bin or anything like that. There will be other things we can do with this. See if we can actually make it stable eventually. But I'm going to leave it there for now. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed that little video. So thanks for watching and goodbye.